Hey, friend, do you struggle with food noise? You know, that constant internal chatter that has you obsessing about food, especially during the holidays? If you've been finding yourself fixated on calories and portion sizes, especially at holiday meals, feeling guilty after eating something quote unquote unhealthy at a holiday party, or constantly thinking about what or how much to eat or comparing good versus bad foods, this episode is for you. Food noise can be even more of a challenge to deal with this time of year because of all the tempting foods. Am I right? And if you're going through perimenopause or menopause, you may be tempted to avoid or cancel going to holiday parties altogether. Been there, got the t-shirt. Because who wants to go to a party when you can't eat anything? Or where you lose all control and end up eating foods that zap your energy and trigger your other hormonal symptoms. Yeah. In today's episode, I am going to unpack what exactly is food noise, how hormone imbalance can contribute to food noise, as well as the three biggest drivers of food noise during the holidays. Plus, I'm going to share 7 tips on how to quiet your food noise and actually enjoy the holidays without feeling deprived and without feeling guilty. So, grab a notebook and your sense of humor, and I'll be back to break it all down in less than 60 seconds. Welcome to Are You There Midlife? It's me, Monica. Hi, I'm Monica Topetti, wife, mom, health coach, and hormone imbalance survivor. And I'm on a mission to help women in midlife balance hormones naturally without drugs, doctors, or divorce. Are you tired of dealing with heavy, painful periods that look like a crime scene? Are you sick of struggling with anxiety, fatigue, or brain fog that... What was I just saying? Are you frustrated doing all the things to lose weight but still packing on pounds faster than a real housewife changes Birkins? Girl, you are in the right place. Join me each week as I spill the tea on what to expect in perimenopause and beyond. From IBS to insomnia, bloating to funky body odor, I'll unpack all the weird stuff happening inside our midlife bodies, plus give you the latest science and holistic solutions to manage it all. So ditch the Spanx and hop on board the Hot Mess Express. Let's do this. Hey, beautiful. Welcome back to the show. So if you're new to the podcast, I want you to hit the pause button. Yes, but just for a minute. And I want you to head on over to bit.ly/take my hormone quiz and take my free hormone quiz. But to be completely honest, this really is not a quiz. It's actually a hormone symptom profiling assessment. Quiz sounds a little less intimidating, right? But don't worry, this assessment is easy. It's quick and it's accurate. Sometimes even more accurate than a blood test, especially when it comes to identifying the type and severity of your hormone imbalance. This is not some AI-generated quiz, ladies. In fact, I personally go through every single assessment, evaluating your age, your menopausal stage, and your symptom profile. And then I send you a personal email with your individual results. If you want to finally get some clarity on what the heck is going on with your hormones, just head on over to bit.ly/take my hormone quiz or click the link in today's show notes and join over 1,200 women who have already taken my free assessment and gotten clarity. Okay, so today I'm going to continue my 6-week series on how to enjoy the holidays without sabotaging your hormones or gaining weight. If you missed the last 2 weeks' episodes in this series, I'll be sure to link them in today's show notes. So like I mentioned before the intro, today's episode is all about food noise. Are you familiar with this term? Because I was not. In fact, it wasn't until I had a phone call with a new client who confided in me about her anxiety surrounding the holidays that I first heard it. She said, I have a major issue with food noise. Food is like a social activity for me, and I'm afraid I'm going to miss out on this season. I feel like I can't eat at holiday parties because I don't know what anything is made with, and I don't want people to think I'm rude when I keep passing on the food that they're offering me. I just don't think I'm going to be able to have any fun at all. Does this sound familiar? Then you too may be suffering from food noise. Food noise is actually a psychological term that's used to describe, quote, a heightened reaction to food-related stimuli that can lead to intrusive thoughts and unhealthy eating behaviors. Whether or not you already deal with food noise throughout the year, the holidays can become a perfect storm for food noise due to 3 driving factors. Number 1, packed social calendars. Number 2, a different food environment. And number 3, simply the stress of the season. First off, our social calendars are packed. And that means socializing. Since socializing usually involves food, especially during the holidays, there's going to be a lot more pressure to conform and eat things we normally wouldn't. Secondly, the holidays often put us in places and situations where not only do we not have control of the food being served, but we are often surrounded by delicious dishes that are high in empty calories and low in healthy nutrients. And thirdly, the holidays are notoriously a stressful time of year, which can raise our cortisol levels and make hormonal symptoms like cravings for sugary or salty foods even worse. This can be particularly challenging if you are already entering the holiday season with a high stress level. That's because chronic periods of stress due to either physical, nutritional, environmental, or emotional factors can often be the root cause of a hormone imbalance involving cortisol, the fight or flight hormone. If you think your constant cravings may be a symptom of a hormone imbalance like elevated cortisol or adrenal fatigue, be sure to check out episode 17 of the podcast, which I'll also link in today's show notes. Thankfully, there is a lot we can do to quiet the food noise and enjoy holiday gatherings without completely going off the rails. Tip number 1 is recognize the difference between physical hunger and emotional hunger. So physical hunger is a natural response from our body, signaling the need for nutrients. Emotional hunger, on the other hand, often stems from negative feelings like stress, anxiety, loneliness, or even sadness. And distinguishing between the two is crucial for controlling the food we eat at holiday gatherings. So here's how to tell the difference. Physical hunger gradually develops over time, whereas emotional hunger is sudden. Also, physical hunger is usually followed by a feeling of emptiness in our stomach or even our stomach growling, whereas emotional hunger is usually followed by cravings specifically for comfort foods like mac and cheese or chocolate chip cookies or mashed potatoes and gravy. And third, physical hunger typically lasts only until you eat a nutritious meal, whereas emotional hunger persists even after eating. So, tip number 2 is don't sabotage yourself by going to a holiday gathering hungry. Duh, Monica, I know what you're thinking. I can hear you fast forwarding the podcast right now. But even though this tip sounds like a no-brainer, bear with me. Because I can't tell you how many times the old me would skip a meal or two in order to quote-unquote save up calories for a holiday party. Are you with me? Yeah. But unfortunately, when we restrict food like that, it becomes very, very difficult to make healthy decisions once we get where we're going. Also, Because it takes a while for our brain to catch up with our stomach and recognize we are satisfied, we can tend to binge. How many times have we arrived at a party hungry and then ate all the things? And then we feel so guilty that we get into this cycle of restricting and binging and restricting and binging. And that can create unstable blood sugar and issues with our metabolism, not to mention an unhealthy relationship with food. So, make sure to eat a balanced meal full of fiber-filling vegetables, a serving of lean protein, and a little healthy fat before leaving for your holiday gathering. Tip number 3 is plan before you go. Get clear about your eating goals and by setting clear expectations and boundaries. For example, is there going to be a special holiday dish or drink you look forward to at this party? Something you wanted and you've been dreaming about literally all year long? Then let yourself indulge, but set a limit. Or if you're taking an Uber to the party, do you plan on drinking? Think ahead about what you're going to drink and how many drinks you're going to have. I recommend dry wines, champagne, and hard spirits like gin or vodka with club soda if you want to avoid blood sugar spikes, which can lead to more cravings for sugary foods. Also, by switching to sparkling water in between cocktails, you can help prevent dehydration, which can often be mistaken for hunger. Planning ahead for holiday parties also helps quiet food noise by removing the overwhelm of having to make eating decisions in the moment, and also eliminates the guilt of indulging in special treats. Tip number 4 is eat mindfully, or put another way, enjoy your food. Don't eat in the middle of trying to have a conversation. You won't be able to keep track of how much you're eating, and you'll miss out on the experience. Slow down. Really savor your food. Notice the flavors and the smells and the texture. If it's a special holiday treat, allow yourself to have a full-on sensory experience. Let your taste buds fly. Because science shows you'll be much more likely to be satisfied with just one serving, and you'll be eating from a place of enjoyment rather than fear. Now, I've got 3 more tips on quieting holiday food noise that I want to share with you, including one really cool neuro-hack. But before I share them, I want to invite you to download a free holiday gift I'm only offering to podcast listeners. It's called 12 Days of Healthy Hormones, and it is the answer to how to eat, drink, and be Peri without wreaking havoc on your hormones. This holiday guide is packed with tons of eat this, not that party tips, exercise hacks, baked good ingredient swaps, and hormone-friendly food and cocktail ideas so you can enjoy the holiday season without giving into food noise, without feeling deprived, and without triggering your hormones. So head on over to bit.ly/12daysHH or click the first link in today's show notes and download this free guide today. But hurry, because the link expires December 12th. Okay, so tip number 5 is take small bites. So let's say you get to your holiday party, you didn't plan ahead, and everything looks amazing. Are you doomed to give in to all the food noise? Not necessarily. If you just can't choose one holiday dish or treat to indulge in, try a little bit of everything. Here's the thing. We don't have to eat the whole piece of pie. Super bizarre side note, according to Yahoo News, 1 in 5 Americans has actually eaten an entire pie by themselves. Yikes. Anyways, by eating small bites mindfully, we don't have to miss out on anything. And we can avoid overeating too. Bonus, this is a great strategy to use when you're at a party and the hostess tries to guilt you into trying her amazing homemade fill in the blanks. By literally having just one bite, you can make her feel good while staying true to your eating goals. Tip number 6 is change your food environment. Now, I've already shared how holiday parties can be particularly difficult for dealing with food noise, simply because temptations are all around. So, instead of leaving a party early or avoiding it altogether, try changing the environment instead. For example, if you're at a party where there's a buffet of amazingly delicious food, don't stop and have a conversation with another guest right in front of the buffet. Or if you're sitting in front of a bowl of mindless snacks like M&Ms or Hershey's Kisses or caramel corn, move the bowl to another table or get up and move to another chair. It's not a matter of having self-control or discipline. There are a lot of emotional reasons why we may be tempted to eat something. Heck, just the stress of meeting new people or maybe seeing a family member that we've had a difficult relationship with, that in itself can be enough to send you plunging headfirst into a bowl of Chex Mix. So you can change your food environment by also taking the focus off of food. Well, there's a thought. And instead, focusing on the people you're with or the reason for the season. Try to be present with everyone you talk to. Focus on meeting new people. Or take the opportunity to connect to the occasion spiritually. And tip number 7 is talk to yourself with objective, compassionate self-talk. We've already established that food noise is mindless chatter going on and on and on inside our heads. So it makes sense the way to counter it would involve some kind of self-talk. But how we talk to ourselves, and equally important, how we address ourselves, can make all the difference. According to the latest research, using objective or distant compassionate self-talk, for example, referring to ourselves by our name like, Monica, you can do this, actually neutralizes our inner rumination about food and helps us gain food impulse control. But when we use the first person pronoun I in our self-talk, we actually continue to identify with our mind chatter. Okay, so there you go. 7 tips for quieting the food noise and enjoying holiday gatherings without feeling deprived. Let's review. Tip number 1, recognize the difference between physical hunger and emotional hunger. Tip number 2, don't go to a holiday party hungry. Tip number 3, plan before you go. Tip number 4, eat mindfully. Tip number 5, take small bites. Tip number 6, change your food environment. And tip number 7, talk to yourself with objective, compassionate self-talk. I hope you have a great week, and I look forward to meeting you back here on Tuesday for the next episode of my special holiday hormone series. Happy holidays. Hey, friend. Can I call you friend? Because I already feel like we're friends in my head. Did this podcast teach you something, make you laugh, or feel less like an alien? If so, I would be so incredibly grateful if you could take just 60 seconds to rate, review, and subscribe. That is the number one way you can thank me and support the show. Until next week, stay cool and keep away from sharp objects.